What up, what up? No tricks, all treats tonight. That's because you get the A-plus team, as always, on the Appalachian Wireless Sports Overtime Saturday night. I'm Jamie McCracken. She is Lauren Cash. How you feeling on Halloween night?
Pretty Halloween-y. We got some props. We couldn't dress up.
Yeah.
But we still had to get in the spirit of things.
A little bit, just a little bit. What was your favorite costume?
That I've ever been in my life? Probably an alien. I had like the green face paint and like my hair was like a crazy. It was the best thing ever.
We're going to see you Tinkerbell, though, here a little bit later in the show.
Yes.
You got to tease ahead on that.
8-year-old
Best
Lauren.
costume, what'd you say?
8-year-old Lauren as Tinkerbell.
With interesting teeth, I'll put it that way. Stay tuned for that. Best costume I had, besides my bunny rabbit costume, which we unveiled, of course, on this show before, was probably my Power Ranger costume. I was a blue Power Ranger.
That's exciting. Plenty to get to tonight. U-Pike Union in our game of the week. We'll check in with several basketball teams, including Western Kentucky, where you'll hear from both men's and women's coaches on the two former Perry Central Commodores.
You got glitter all over me. Now that I touch that pumpkin. But first, Kentucky, no dressing up for the football cast tonight. If you relate the product they have put on the field to a bowl of candy, well, they would be the bowl filled with saltine crackers.
Or almond joys. Nobody likes those.
Yeah, that's true. Or what are the popcorn balls either.
Yeah, popcorn balls. No.
Popcorn balls. I can't believe that. All right, here we go. It's Kentucky. It's Tennessee. Nothing sweet about a two-game losing streak. Let's do it. First quarter, no score. Balls deep into Wildcat territory. Josh Dobbs loses the football. And Corey Johnson is a scooping and a scoring.
Trick or treat.
What'd you say?
Trick or treat, big boy.
77 yards to the house for the big boy. Kentucky on top 7-0, but not for long later. Dobbs this time keeping it, and he's tucking it, and he's making it.
Whew. I'm exhausted from watching that.
For real. 28 yards for the score. Game tied at 7. Second quarter, now 10-7 UT. Kentucky going for it on 4th and goal. He's doing a lot of sneaks. This time, Patrick Tolles, he's in. Out of the shotgun. 14-10 Kentucky. Very first play from scrimmage after that. Dobbs, he showed his legs. Now he's shown his arm.
Check out those guns.
Beautiful bomb to Josh Malone. 75-yard strike. Tennessee led 24-14 at halftime recess. Let's go second half. Third quarter. Tolles, little dump down pass.
To the wrong team.
To the wrong team, brother. Darian Kirkland Jr. right into the pumpkin basket. 26 yards on the return, and then on the very next play, Jalen Hurd from 4 yards out. 38-14, all burnt orange. Sarah Jane, our producer, is, she's probably liking this. Go ball, she says in my ear and our ear. Tolles making up for his mistake, though. He hits Garrett Johnson, 39 yards on that hookup. But on the ensuing kickoff,
it's never good when you show kickoffs.
The Vols bring more treats to the table. Evan Berry, 0 to 100 real quick. Brent Musburger on the call.
30, 40, 45. Can he do it again? Number 3 in sight. Hello, end zone. 100-plus yards for Berry.
That's decent.
Evan Berry, the sophomore, with his 3rd touchdown return on the season. Let's go to the Highlands Black and Blue Clinic scoreboard. This one, not even a contest. Tennessee wipes out Kentucky 52-21. Tolles goes just 16 of 33 for 184 yards and an INT and a touchdown. Other quarterback on the other sideline, Josh Dobbs, he goes 16 of 26, 233 yards, 2 touchdowns, 1 INT. That makes 30 wins now for Tennessee in the last 31 meetings. Yikes. Next up for the football Cats, Georgia, a noon kick time, Lauren.
Yeah, Kentucky goes to Athens to take on the Bulldogs. Last year, the Dogs put up 63 points in a big win in Lexington. Ended up being the highest output in an SEC game since crushing Florida 75-0 in 1942. You'll be able to watch this game on either ESPN, ESPN2, or the SEC network, aka it is yet to be determined.
TBD.
Still to come on the show, our Sports Overtime Rewind takes us to Wise, Virginia.
That's right. Up next, though, U-Pike Union, our Appalachian Wireless Game of the Week.
Roseman going deep down the sideline, has a man caught, touchdown, it's Austin Prey.
Before we get back to football, a monster race this evening at Keeneland in Lexington. Trainer Bob Baffert and his Triple Crown winner, American Pharoah, on the track.
Yeah, that's right. The first Triple Crown winner to run in the Classic and the only Triple Crown winner to run in his last race in Kentucky. What a week it has been out at the Breeders' Cup. Let's cap it off with the Classic race Larry Colmus takes it from here.
American Pharoah's lead is a length and a half. And now Victor Espinoza starts to pump on him and says, let's go. On the far turn, they're in front by 2. FNX continues to chase. And then comes Frosted and Tonalist. And they're all put to full-out drives. And American Pharoah is getting away. And they're into the stretch. And American Pharoah has a 4-length lead. FNX is second. And then it's Frosted, Tonalist, and Honor Code. American Pharoah comes into his final furlong, and he's got a 6-length lead as they come to the wire. A Triple Crown winner, a Breeders' Cup winner, a horse of a lifetime.
Wow.
That is just an awesome, awesome call by Larry Colmus. American Pharoah, the Derby, the Preakness, the Belmont, and now the $5 million Breeders' Cup Classic. AP, yeah, you can say it. He is a super horse, no doubt about it. Incredible run this horse has had. American Pharoah ends his career with a win in the Breeders' Cup Classic. Sensational.
Absolutely.
Welcome back, by the way. Talk about a couple of teams that have lived out a nightmare the past couple of months. U-Pike hosting Union today. Yeah,
at Howard Field, the Bears and Bulldogs have combined for 11 straight losses. And while U-Pike has lost 4 straight coming into our game of the week, Union hasn't won all season long, sitting at 0-7. It's a Mid-Southeast Division matchup. All-time series knotted at 6 apiece. First quarter, U-Pike already up 7-0. Quan Weaver, gone. 58 yards for the rushing touchdown. Jamie wrote this.
You know what he's about to do, right?
You can say it.
I mean, his name is Quan. He hits the Quan.
In the back of the end zone. 12th rushing touchdown of the season for Quan. Ensuing kickoff, Seth Nichols. He's a freshman, and he makes a freshman mistake. Ball pops out. There's a scramble for it, and U-Pike recovers the fumble. Bear ball. Bear ball. Bears don't waste any time putting more points on the board either. Jamar Kirksey. He's a tank and hard to take down, but he doesn't even get touched. U-Pike up 21-0 in the first quarter. Bears go on to score 28 in that first quarter. Second quarter now, Union finally gets on the board. Darian Patterson in the corner of the end zone. What a grab. Bulldogs trail 28-12 at the half. Second half now. R.J. Roseman Jr. got the start over Sonny Warren. Throws a beauty to Austin Prey. Happy 22nd birthday, Austin. 33-yard touchdown pass and catch for the score. You know we're going to take another look at it.
Yeah, we are, because I wrote it.
You did write it. One more.
One more time.
Slow motion.
Slow motion for me. Slow motion
anyway.
For me. Slow motion.
Let's go to the Highlands Black and Blue Clinic scoreboard. Bears put up 530 yards of total offense and win 42-28. Here's head coach Al Holland Jr. after the game.
You know, it gets us 2-1 in the Mid-Southeast. You know, anything can happen. A lot of work's got to happen, but, we're just trying to improve guys and improve this program, and it just takes developing players. And, different guys are going to step up on different days, and, RJ stepped up today and had a heck of a game, and, Quan Weaver continues to pack the load for us in that offensive line. Our defense had some big stops today early in the game that got us that cushion and set things up for us offensively.
Well, up next for the U-Pike Bears, they look to win out the rest of the season. They hit the road to Kentucky Christian next Saturday at 1:30. And for Union, well, they're back at home at Williamson Stadium to take on Bluefield. The Bulldogs still in search of their first win since September of 2004.
You like slow motion? You know when that hotline bling, that can only mean one thing. Drake in Moorhead. The Eagles taking on the Bulldogs. First quarter, Dogs up 7-0 already. Austin Gehafer. Oh, he's picked off by Kaz Zix. That's a crazy name. Drake doesn't capitalize off that turnover, though. Moorhead gets the ball back, and Ryan Watkins has the football. Takes the carry. Little somersault, picks up 12, and 3 plays later, Gehafer's going to make up for his mistake. Over the middle to Justin Cornwall. He does the rest. 10 catches for 134 yards and 3 touchdowns for Cornwall, and that sets up our Falls Auto Group drive of the night. The drive started at the Eagles' own 36-yard line. A couple of nice big runs by Brent Holman here. And, of course, you saw the Watkins carry as well a little bit earlier. It's a 9-play, 64-yard drive that is capped off with a Gehafer to Cornwall touchdown. 7-7 after 1 quarter. You know you like that hotline bling, right?
Yeah.
Second quarter, Drake quarterback Andy Rice has trouble with the snap, and Luke Keller's there to meet him and greet him. Keller with the sack. The game goes to triple overtime. Go to the Highlands Black and Blue Clinic scoreboard. 38-35 is the final score. My man Shavy Bash with the game winner today. A 23-yard field goal in the third overtime. 6 straight home wins now dating back to last year for MSU.
Staying on the scoreboard, but first, I said Union hadn't won since 2004. I meant 2014. Got a little added unnecessarily 10 years to that. Sorry, Union. Staying on the scoreboard, the University of the Cumberlands keeps winning. The Patriots ranked 21st in this week's NAIA poll, wins 41-7 over Bluefield College. Cumberlands ran for 353 yards. Hunter Lewis led the way, 27 carries, 137 yards, and 5 touchdowns. Staying on the scoreboard, 13th ranked EKU falls on the road 34-0 to the number one ranked team in the FCS. The Colonels give up 4 sacks. They had only allowed 5 sacks the entire season.
How about the world's largest outdoor cocktail party? Florida, Georgia. Not the Florida, Georgia line, but Florida, Georgia college football. We're showing a punt. Something's about to go down, I guess. Reggie Davis weaves his hands for the fair catch. Oh, but there's no catch. You hear Vern Lundquist on the call. He's jacked up. Nick Washington jumps on it. Florida 6-0 after 1 quarter. Same score, Treon Harris scrambling, firing. Oh, that's a beauty. Antonio Callaway. Gators lead out to 13-0. Florida in the red zone again. Kelvin Taylor grabs the handoff. He gets it in for 3 yards out. 20-0. Gators are cruising, and, well, they cruised this one. Number 11, Florida wins it over Georgia 27-3, the final score.
Auburn hosting the 19th ranked Ole Miss Rebels. Tigers pushing down the field, trying to show a little trickery. I mean, it is Halloween. Sean White, the fake, finds Ricardo Lewis down the field for the touchdown. 47 yards on the passing catch. Auburn leads the Rebs 10-3. Ole Miss would respond, though. Akeem Judd darts around for 25 yards and the touchdown. Judd had 8 carries, 58 yards, and, well, that touchdown. We're tied up at 10. And now we're tied up at 13. Chad Kelly, play action. Derek Jones.
Ah, he got it.
Yeah, he did. 45 yards for the
making
score.
moves, too. That's equivalent to a crossover in basketball.
To 13, Ole Miss, and the Rebels notch another win in the SEC, 27-19, the final over Auburn.
All right, no old ball, coach. South Carolina at Texas A&M. Kyler Murray to Josh Reynolds. That's a quick 7-0 A&M. To the third quarter, Gamecocks in midfield. Donovan Wilson with the pick and the 6.
He's still running.
I just like the music. A&M by 2 touchdowns. Last chance for South Carolina, 4th and 14, under a minute to play. It's Wilson again. Well, that seals the deal. Take a look at the scoreboard. Texas A&M gets the SEC win over South Carolina 35-28.
Back on the Highlands Black and Blue Clinic scoreboard, Arkansas put up 63 on UT Martin, 63-28 the final, and Houston shuts out Vanderbilt 34-0.
Coming up on the Sports Overtime Saturday night, we cap off the final regular season week. Final regular season week in high school football.
Yes, it's our 2-minute drill. Plus, we'll look ahead to the first round of playoffs now that we know who's going to play who.
This is Josh Cornett, wide receiver for the Sunset Broad Germs, and you are watching Sports Overtime Saturday night. And that is all.
Welcome back. An awesome regular season across the coverage area. Almost none of the games, though, mattered last night as far as playoffs go. But teams like Powell County continue to kill it. The Pirates won their 7th straight game after losing their first 3 of the season. And that's just one of the storylines from last night. Here's more in this week's Lee's Famous Recipe. Hazard and Whitesburg, 2-minute drill. The regular season closes out, and now it's playoff time. While most teams knew their postseason destiny before Friday night's games, there was still plenty of fun on and off the field. Happy Halloween! Remember when Pikeville's Chatlin Gerald took the opening kick back in the first regular season game? He let off similar fireworks in the last regular season game versus Pike Central.
Sick had to exit after this big run, but watch this cutback right there, and he is not touched. able to get to the end zone.
The Panthers finish 8-2 and host Lynn Camp in the first round of the Class 1A playoffs. A shocker in Pond Creek. Number 3 Belfry shuts out number 2 Johnson Central 41-0, ending a 2-year losing skid to the Golden Eagles. Allen Central and Knott Central combined for 110 points. Rebels win by 2 in double overtime. That wasn't even close, though, to being the wildest offensive game of the night. Eastridge beat South Floyd 77-46 in 4 quarters of football. Heck, Randy McCoy's basketball team only scored 77 or more points last year twice in 27 games. Paintsville goes undefeated in the regular season for the first time since 2005. Tigers beat Shelby Valley 44-27. The Riley Hollis number 1 ranked Pulaski County Maroons make a comeback to beat Bourbon County. The defending Class 5A state champs host Letcher Central in round 1 of the playoffs. Finally, up on Log Mountain, Bell County gets the 26-point win over Harlan County. Both teams have home playoff games next, but before this ends, here's an in case you missed it play. "192 teams will play win or go home football next Friday. It's playoff time." This has been the Lee's Famous Recipe, Hazard and Whitesburg. 2-minute drill. All right, fun stuff there. Lauren, go ahead and help me out if you don't mind.
First round of the high school football playoffs going on next week. We're looking at the big game board. The Leslie County Eagles host the Somerset Briar Jumpers in the opening round in Class 2A. Jumping to 4A, Dudley Hilton makes his return to the mountains. His Taylor County Cardinals face off with Knox Central. The number 1 team in the mountains, Pulaski County, hosts Letcher County Central in the first round. And it's a rematch in London. North Laurel hosts South Laurel. The Jags beat the Cards back in week 0, 56-0. The undefeated Paintsville Tigers host the Bracken County Polar Bears. I just had to put that in there because that's their mascot.
I feel you.
And the Harlan Independent Green Dragons host the Jenkins Cavaliers.
I should probably come back on.
Yeah, are you ready now?
Fix my color?
What do you mean?
Okay. Sorry. She had to fix me. I
had
had
to
this
fix
great
this collar.
pumpkin tie. Look at that. All right, all
He
right.
had a costume change.
I had a costume. That's why you had to read that. Okay, I hope you really like this. I think it looks good. I don't know. I can't tell if it's good or not. She fixed me up. It's good. All right. So if you watched our Valentine's Day show earlier this year, you know we like to do a little something special, especially when we have a show on a holiday. So tonight we have Halloween-themed memes. I didn't really do any, captions or anything like that. So we're going to start with Lauren Cash in costume. What do we got? Oh, there it is.
Aww.
Oh, it skipped over right to the.
So it got right to the point.
Right to the teeth.
I was Tinkerbell. I think I was probably 8 years old. This is my best friend. She's actually getting married next weekend, 2 weekends from now.
There we go.
Those teeth.
Those teeth.
Are
you said you were
life-changing.
Tinkerbell, you said, right?
Yeah, I was Tinkerbell. You could see from the big one. And then, like that, thank goodness those teeth grew back in. That's all I'm going to say.
Yeah, for real. All right. What we got next? Oh, there's me.
Oh my gosh,
Look
you
how great
look
that
just
is.
like the pumpkin that is right next to you.
Yeah, I mean, there it is. I'm looking at the wrong monitor, that's why. Yeah, that is greatness right there, right? I'm as big as that pumpkin.
I think you're still that same size.
Oh, okay, yeah, you already saw that, but.
Pumpkin-themed life is what you lived.
I mean, literally, I think I said, Mom, can I be a pumpkin for like 45 years?
My sister wanted to be Buzz Lightyear for about 10 years.
Maybe that's, yeah, you were saying that. Maybe that's the thing.
a
It's like
phase.
when you're young, you just have a phase. I was a pumpkin phase.
Oh,
All right,
Josh
this is our sports
McKinney.
director. Sports director Josh McKinney, Cleveland Indian.
I mean, I'd be angry too if I was dressed up as an Indian.
Seriously looks mad.
player.
But wait, it gets worse. He is literally, he's ticked off.
He is not happy. That's the face he
like
gives
7.
us if he was here right now and he knew that we were putting these pictures on the
By the
document.
way, oh, wait a minute. Can we go back to that real quick? That's him of a bumblebee, but is there any way to go back? There we go. All right, look at the Pepsi can. Now, if that's not 1990s, I mean, seriously, that Pepsi can, that's
Probably worth
1990s.
some money now, if he would have
Probably.
saved it and didn't drink it.
Yeah, probably. Okay, we can go on. We can show cute Josh now in a bumblebee outfit.
Aww.
That's
Bumblebee
adorable,
Joshy.
right?
That's
okay, at least
adorable.
he was happy when he was younger.
Yeah, he was smiling there.
Okay. What else we got? Oh, there's Braden Cherico in costume.
That's
Of
adorable.
course, that's Joe Cherico's son.
Painesville's head
Painesville
coach.
head coach, yeah. Oh, there's your boy, Freddie Maggard.
There's my co-host of Chalk Talk on Mondays, dressed up as a cheerleader.
Tell him to rock that this Monday.
I think we need to tweet at him later and tell him that should probably be something he wears to the news conference with Coach Stoops.
So we'll have Chalk Talk with 2 females instead of just one.
Yes,
Okay.
yes. I'll dress up as the football player and he can be the cheerleader.
Tell him to wear the skirt, though. You gotta wear the skirt, right? All right, what else we got? Oh, yeah, this is probably my favorite one.
Okay.
Okay, this is Riley Hall, quarterback of Pulaski County. He posted this to his Snapchat, and I screenshot it a long time ago. I was like, man, you can't put that on your Snapchat without me screenshotting it. And, of course, I tweeted it out and everything else. So he's a field goal post, but the best part about it is, if you can tell, his head is the football.
It's a foreshadowing to all the success he'd have in his high school career.
For real. I mean, he was hurt, though, this week, so we're hoping, hope he'll be back for the playoffs. He should be. Letcher Central this week.
Thank you guys for indulging us with that embarrassing segment.
We thought it was
where
going to be
show
behind us, but...
pictures of us when we were small children, just to.
Can we go back to Tinkerbell? Please go back to Tinkerbell. Please. Wait for it. Jesse's got this. There she is. All right, so we got this zoomed out shot.
Note that my sister, the one in front of me, you can kind of tell she's got the Buzz Lightyear costume on.
For like the 5th straight year.
Yes, exactly.
Okay, zoom it in. Let's get the close up on it. I got to see these teeth.
It was cool back then
Oh my
to
goodness,
have
Lauren.
your teeth missing.
Lauren.
Wasn't it? It was cool in Louisville
Lauren.
to lose your teeth.
I think there's a reason. I don't know. I think there's a reason why you went to Western Kentucky or Western Kentucky. What is that? Can we see your teeth? Do you have any? Okay.
They're
that's
fully
good.
there now, I promise. Up next now that we're done with making fun of Lauren's teeth, we're going to talk a little basketball.
Hey man, I was a pumpkin. So what do you guys? I was a fat pumpkin too. I came out of my mom 9 pounds 9 ounces. I was a big old boy. Now I'm like this.
Just
little
read
skinny
the
one.
ones.
All right, we go to WKU, EKU, Morehead State, and Kentucky. Hear from some of the players and storyline. Say it.
Head coaches.
Stole it again. Welcome back to our what Lauren likes to call
Halloweeny.
show. There you go. It's been fun so far. A lot of football so far. Now we switch gears to basketball, though. The number 2 U Pike Bears at home tonight against Ohio Eastern.
Yeah, I'm going to be really honest with you right now before you even watch the highlights. They won, and their starters played maybe 10 minutes.
Ooh.
Roll that video. KK Simmons and the Bears ready to add another game to that home winning streak they have. Early
can
first half, Bears with the lead. The no-look pass from KK to Colt Chapman under the basket for the easy layup. Just like that, you Pike by 7. How about another KK assist here? Simmons to Makari Brooks. I mean, that ball didn't even touch the rim.
Both those kids can ball.
Poor Ohio Eastern. Bears pulling away. Bears had the heavy advantage in every category. Add out in transition to the list. Chapman to Brooks, easiest 2 in the book for the orange and black. Coach Kelly Wells started to sit his starters after about 10 minutes in the game. Problem is, the next 5, they're just as good. Marshall Bennett with the and 1 there. Scoreboard time, a lot to a little. 113-45. We had to put the final score into the other column because our scoreboard doesn't take triple digits. They increase their winning streak to 43, the longest in the nation at any collegiate level winning streak at home.
They're probably going to keep on winning more at home, too.
Probably.
All right. Western Kentucky men's basketball team is gearing up for another season on the Hill.
Yeah, disappointing loss in the quarterfinals of the Conference USA tournament to UAB last season. The Tops ready to get this thing going. Former Perry Central Commodore Justin Johnson is back in Bowling Green for his sophomore season. Johnson, in his freshman season, played in 31 games and averaged around 15 minutes of playing time. Turning to this season, head coach Ray Harper says he expects his role to increase.
Oh, I think it improved before the season was over. I think it held him back early. He didn't always transition really well from offense to defense. And Justin was sitting here, he'd tell you the same thing. But I think he, over the course of the season and watching tape and hearing us talk about it a lot, that he just continued to get better. And by the end of the season, he was the guy that we went to first go off the bench. Now, we need him to take a big step. And, we think he's more than capable of stepping in and filling those shoes of number 44.
All right, how about the women? The women at WKU also has a Prairie Central player, a former Commodore, Lady Commodore Kendall Noble, the 2015 Conference USA Defensive Player of the Year, enters her junior season with the Tops. Noble started in all 34 games for WKU last season, and head coach Michelle Clark-Hurd says that experience will prove valuable heading into this season with only 5 returners on the squad.
Well, I think, to all the coaches' credits in the league, you have to look at what we lost. I mean, we graduated a lot as far as a lot of our points and a lot of our rebounds, but I think also you look at the returners and the things that they've done, and Kendall Noble and Michael started ever since she's been here. So, I think my biggest thing that we talked about as a team is just our consistency. That's what we want to do. We want to continue to be consistent in the conference and be one of the top teams in the conference.
The Morehead State Eagles picked to finish second in the Ohio Valley Conference East Division. The Eagles finished 500 last season overall and 10-6 in conference play. Looking to this season, head coach Sean Woods is anxious to see what his team will look like on the court because of so many new faces. But he also says their work ethic is refreshing.
The biggest challenge is having 7 new guys who hadn't done this yet. So it's taking a little time for them to get acclimated to how we do things. But I like my team. I like the mentality of my team, or the leadership and the character of this team is one that I haven't been around in a long time, and it's very refreshing.
All right, the Bengals were off last week, of course, but they're undefeated, and they play this week.
Yeah, they look for their start to be 7-0 for the first time in franchise history. Coming up later in the show, we'll preview Week 8 in the NFL, hear from Bengals quarterback Andy Dalton on what he thinks about making history.
Welcome back. We're changing things up just a little bit for this week's Sports Overtime Rewind. We're going to do a little college segment, going back 4 years for a college game.
Yeah, Dewey Lusk was in his first season as UVA-Y's head coach, and the Cavaliers in just the 3rd game of the season had a moment to remember forever. Josh McKinney has the story.
The 1-1 UVA-Y's Cavaliers welcomed in 2-0 Emory and Henry on the afternoon of September 17, 2011, in one of those back-and-forth games where the last team with the ball had a chance to win. While that was kind of the case on that day 4 years ago, no one could have predicted the chaos that would ensue on the game's final play. Looking back, to describe this game as even may be an understatement. The Cavaliers grabbed the early lead less than 2 minutes into the game when Stuart Robertson gashed the Emory and Henry defense for a 43-yard touchdown run, the first of 2 scores for Robertson on the day. Emory and Henry, though, scored 14 unanswered points to go up 14-7, including 7 on a 21-yard connection between Kyle Bowden and Preston Jennings. But a Cavalier field goal made it a 4-point game after the first quarter. The Wasps would grab the largest lead of the game less than a minute to go in the half when Adrian Johnson made a spectacular catch in the end zone to send Emory and Henry into the locker room with a 28-17 lead. The lead was 10 in the fourth quarter, and that was when things really got interesting. The Emory and Henry offense totaled 327 yards for the game, but on 3 drives in the fourth quarter, managed just 9 net yards, with each drive ending in a punt. As for the Cavaliers, their first drive of the quarter covered 88 yards on 14 plays, capped off by a 19-yard touchdown pass from Ty Marshall to Michael Steele, 30-27. Following a Wasp punt, Wise was driving again, but Marshall's 3rd interception of the day really made things look bleak, with the Cavaliers trailing by 3 and just more than 1 minute remaining. But Emory and Henry could not muster any kind of offense to speak of, losing 8 yards on 3 plays, forcing its 3rd punt of the quarter. This one, though, with just 10 seconds remaining. Remember when I said the last team to touch the ball would have a chance to win? Cue the chaos.
Hey, he's going to snap, punt it. The block is on, and they didn't get it.
Marcus Bratton fielded the punt and looked for any sort of hole to run through, knowing a touchdown was the only possibility with the clock stuck on zeros.
Here is Bratton to the 30-yard line. He needs all kinds of blocks. There's one. 40-yard line. 40.
Bratton gets tripped up around midfield, but somehow managed to flip the ball to a teammate before hitting the turf.
And the clock is running. Oh, my goodness! To the 40!
and that teammate, freshman Josh Wright, finished what Bratton started by racing 40 yards untouched for a game-winning touchdown with no time left on the clock. 33-30 UVA-Wise Cavaliers.
Oh my goodness! The Cavs have won! The Cavs have won! Oh my goodness!
That win sparked a 3-game winning streak for the Cavaliers, who would finish 5-6 that season, the first for head coach Dewey Lusk. But no win then or since has been as memorable as the punt return lateral to beat Emory and Henry.
They won the Southwest Virginia Bowl in one of the greatest games I have ever seen in my life.
That is just awesome.
That was awesome. I got chills on that call.
Yeah, I love how the play-by-play guy was laughing at the color commentary guy. That's hilarious. All right, the Cavaliers have yet to win as many as 5 games in a season since 2011, producing a season-high 3 wins in 2012.
And while things are sure to improve in the coming years, it will be hard to match the excitement of that one play 4 years ago.
Yeah. Well, we close out the show next with our play of the week. You like my cool graphics?
Plus a preview of Week 8 of the National Football League.
Yeah, that's right. Also, we will, I think we'll have a glow stick sword fight maybe and other stuff. I don't know. Stay tuned. We're probably going to turn the lights out and glow in the dark. All right, time for our play of the week. Let's go to Pikeville for this nasty catch by Austin Prey on his birthday.
On his birthday.
Oh, my goodness. He's 22. Check it out again. R.J. Roseman to Prey. The Bears snap a 4-game losing streak. Congrats to Austin Prey. Again, a happy birthday and a crazy catch. Tonight's play of the week. All right, our last segment of this Halloween-themed Appalachian Wireless Sports Overtime Saturday night. We go Week 8 of the NFL season this Sunday.
Yes, we do. You're still reading.
I'm still reading. The Patriots still undefeated after Thursday night's game with the Dolphins.
Yeah, a few other teams still undefeated, but one that is not the Tennessee Titans. The Titans still in search of their identity on offense, but one bright spot has been undrafted free agent and former Western Kentucky Hilltopper, Antonio Andrews. Andrews is coming off his best game yet, 10 carries for 57 yards against the Falcons, and offensive coordinator Jason Michaels says that production has helped him earn more trust on the field.
Yeah, I think so, and then I know the running back position comes up in terms of who gets those, Antonio's done a really good job. He did last week of being physical, and that's what we asked him to do last week. And in the packages of the plays that he has, he was physical and did that. And we've got to continue to, in those plays, let him do those things. So yes, I would say yes in terms of earning more snaps, and that's where we go.
The Cincinnati Bengals look to extend their undefeated streak to 7-0 this Sunday against the Pittsburgh Steelers. Of course, they were off this past Sunday. If the Bengals were to win tomorrow, it'd be the first time in franchise history they had started 7-0. Quarterback Andy Dalton says while it'd be great to do something that's never been done before, they want to focus on the fact that it is a divisional football game they've got.
Yeah, I mean, this, regardless of the fact that the franchise has never done it, it's the next one. It's important. It's a division game. It counts a lot. And so whatever we can do to get to 7-0, yes, it would be cool for this team to do something that's never been done here before. But that's definitely not our only motivation of what we got going. There's a lot in front of us.
How about the 4-2 Minnesota Vikings? An impressive performance last week on the road against the Lions. Teddy Bridgewater threw for a season-high 316 yards and 2 touchdowns. Now they're back on the road for another NFC North divisional game against the Chicago Bears. A win for the Vikings would put more distance between them and the Bears and the Lions.
Teddy.
Get back to work this week, shift our focus to Chicago. We know the challenge that's ahead of us, and we're aware of the streak or something like that we haven't won in Chicago since I can't even remember. But the guys are aware of that. Coach Zimmer, he stressed how important this game is, and we know how important it is. Another division game on the road, and we need to play on the road the way we play at home. And I think the guys are doing a good job of just understanding that, and we're excited.
Well, to the other kind of football, a memorable season for the Perry Central Commodores sadly came to an end tonight in Lexington. They lost to Henry Clay 6-0 in the quarterfinal round of the boys state soccer tournament. The Commodores finished the season with 18 wins, 3 losses, and 1 tie.
Good season.
Yes.
No doubt. Down to the Final Four. Well, that wraps it up for our show, our Halloweeny show, right?
We'll be back to normal. Boring. Just kidding. We're never boring. Next week.
You're not even. Are you? Yeah, you're gonna be here next week. 2 weeks from now.
Yeah, 2 weeks from now.
Yeah. Did you have fun, by the way?
I did have fun.
As always. Okay.
Look at the flick of the wrist.
Woo! Okay. Next week we got Kentucky. Of course, we have high school football, first round of playoffs. Not a lot of good matchups because it is first round, but we'll have some stuff.
We'll always have stuff.
Yeah. What else are we supposed to do? Oh yeah, I want to go. Oh yeah, look at all these cool things that I created. Keep flipping them. Oh yeah. You like all these Halloween? Look at that. A little spider.
Good work. Good work.
It's good.
I'm proud
before
of you,
we go, by the way, let's show Tinkerbell. Let's show Tinkerbell one more time. One more time. You can show the pumpkin of me too.
Oh.
But Lauren Cash, top left, Tinkerbell. It's like the 15th time. I love it.
Those are memories. Memories. I cherish those. Those awkward stages. I live for them.
Live for them. Go to the pumpkin. I want to see myself in the pumpkin. One more pumpkin and then I'm done. You got the pumpkin? Yeah! Come on now, 1 to 10, the cuteness scale.
Like 7.5.
Even Josh gave me like a 15 out of 1 out of 10.
Whatever.
All right, that's gonna do it.
We got glow sticks on.
We got a glow sticks on. I think we should shut out the lights and crank up that music. Go!